Good morning and welcome to our continuing series, interviews with disciples and devotees. Now you've seen Dr. Pachegaonkar many times, and I welcome him here again this morning. Namaste. Today's subject is hyperacidity, which is a problem for many people.
Yes.
Could you speak a bit about it?
Actually, every stomach needs to have hydrochloric acid as an essential secretion. It helps in digestion of the food. So, with acid secretion, the food after churning becomes easier for digestion and absorption in small intestines. So the whole churning and mixing and making it a homogeneous material with lot of saliva, it becomes a liquid which can pass through intestines easily. But only problem comes if this acid comes in a reverse order, little reflux towards esophagus, it causes burning because it's essentially acid.
Right.
And acid secretion is controlled or monitored by our central system through branches of vagus in the stomach. So this is a routine phenomena that whatever we eat, the acid secretion is there, and with that the food churns to become a homogeneous this thing, and then it goes easier for digestion. But we call it hyperacidity because when undue acid secretion is there, sometimes some people secrete more quantity of acid. In some people, it comes in the wrong way, what we call acid reflux. Generally, what happens when we eat food, it descends to stomach, and once you have completed your eating, the esophageal end of stomach gets shut. And even the pyloric end, and both the ends are shut, and then the churning starts. So food neither passes further nor it comes back as a reflux. But in some people, because this doesn't close properly, it comes up, and then it causes burning behind the sternum up to the neck, up to throat even. Not only that, even because of that, few people develop a sore throat or a chronic cough, unexplained, no allergy, nothing, and they develop cough. That also can be because of hyperacidity. And if this hyperacidity is too much, it can cause even inflammation in the inner lining of our intestines, like gastric ulcers or duodenal ulcers. So hyperacidity is very common, but mainly it is related to anxiety, stress.
The body is producing more
acid.
because
It can be like a vicious cycle also. In the sense, like if you are anxious or if you are depressed or if you are stressed up, you tend to eat fast. So that is what we call hurry, worry and curry. When you are in haste, you develop more hyperacidity. When you are worried, then also you develop. And when you eat too much spicy, because that adds to the corrosion of acid in our intestinal tract. So therefore, for hyperacidity, we say it is hurry, worry and curry, which you have to avoid. No hurry, absolutely no worry, at least while eating, and then no too much spicy food.
Now, too much is an interesting term because I noticed in South India, everything is highly spiced.
Correct. So we can't just have a measure or a scale for spicy, because some people are okay with spice. Even the capsicum, which is the most spicy thing, that also they eat raw, just like that. What we suggest is whatever vegetable or side dish you have, spice in it, the subject must be able to consume the whole dish of that vegetable or curry as a whole without any problem.
Okay.
Just spoon by spoon, spoon by spoon, you must be able to eat the whole curry or vegetable dish without needing to drink water or needing to supplement it or cool it down. Then it is moderate spice because our tongue can guide us. Another reason, for very common reason, especially in India, is the wrong habit of cleaning tongue. Some people inculcate habit that when they brush their teeth and massage gums in morning, then they start cleaning the tongue mechanically with fingers or some they find the tongue
I
cleaner.
have seen that.
Yes.
And
And that's most absurd procedure. In the sense because tongue has certain area where if you any foreign touch, the reverse peristaltic movement starts. And that helps the contents of stomach come up. And that is the beginning of inflammation in the lower range of esophagus.
So how does the tongue detect this
No.
foreign?
Tongue is a very swift organ. Tongue doesn't allow anything to get lodged there. Either it should go down or it will spit it off. And tongue is such a swift organ that it rubs itself against teeth and removes it. Even if you just try applying one sticker there on tongue and without mechanically removing it by hand, tongue can arrange to remove it. So it's a very swift organ. So it's a wrong concept that you should, with tongue cleaner, you go on cleaning tongue. It is not necessary at all.
Is it harmful?
It is harmful.
Because it can...
It induces reverse peristaltic movements which can create a turmoil. Imagine all the contents of stomach are, I have seen some person, we call it hematemesis, bleeding, coming in vomiting. What happens, because of reverse peristaltic movement, there is vacuum created in the stomach, and if no content is there, the vacuum ruptures the mucosa of stomach and causes bleeding. So we have seen some people who try to, and what happens when they try to, this is like indirectly inducing vomiting. And when they induce vomiting by creating this vacuum, they get sort of an intoxicated feeling in the brain. And they feel this is like, nasha we call it, intoxicated feeling as if you have drunk, that type of feeling, and people feel this is the fine. And it's cultivated. Not only that, in market, the shops are selling the tongue cleaner, the plastic tongue cleaner, which nowhere in the developed countries you get it. In US you go, it won't be. Yes.
And I've seen the metal one here.
Yes. This is absolutely wrong. Metal, plastic, whatever pet material, or some people in villages they inculcate with fingers. They do it, which again is a problem. So hyperacidity, actually we call it a misnomer. Mainly it is wrong way the acid is coming, therefore we call it hyperacidity. And hyperacidity is such a phenomena, it is directly related to the central system. Somewhere between 70 and 80, people with duodenal ulcer, surgeon used to say that, the vagus is responsible for secretion of acid in stomach. So they used to try removing part of stomach or the part of nerves in the pyloric end of stomach. So they used to call it partial vagotomy. The branches of vagus they used to remove from part of the stomach, and they find that whatever remaining branches are there, they go in hyperfunction. And the same hyperacidity comes back in spite of removing
I see.
so many branches of vagus from stomach. So now everyone has realized that nothing to do with branches of vagus, but it is mainly our system which monitors it. So as a remedy, what we suggest is one should eat slowly, then eat moderate. The spice also level should be moderate or not non-spicy. And most importantly, we suggest is you drink lot of water half an hour before food, and every day the person having hyperacidity should start his day with something citrus, either lemon or orange juice, because that helps in both ways. The first is when vegetable acid is there in the stomach on empty stomach, the mucous membrane of stomach is very sensitive, and immediately our central system reads that the pH in stomach is acidic, and therefore the acid secretion is inhibited. So as a rebound effect, there would be alkaline effect, means less secretion of acid. Moreover, if you hydrate yourself well, because when we eat our meals, almost more than 1 liter of saliva is secreted, which dilutes everything. So when you are hydrated well, then only saliva would come. If you are not hydrated well before food, then the production of saliva also will be impaired, or it will be body will be deprived of it. Therefore, we suggest that you drink lot of water half an hour before food or 15-20 minutes before food. Eat slowly, eat moderate, and less spicy.
So when do you take the lime or lemon or orange juice? With the water?
With water, of course, yes, diluted.
I mean,
diluted.
during the intake of the water. You
During
can
the
take
intake of
also
water,
that.
yes.
Okay,
yes.
good. And that, though it's acid,
Yes,
creates alkalinity.
correct.
That's very interesting.
It inhibits the acid secretion in stomach if it is taken on empty stomach.
Okay.
Because after food, if you take the mucous membrane and nerves are not that sensitive, so that impulse may not be there. Rather, it will add to acidity. But before food, definitely. Then regarding like stress and worry, you just can't tell someone that reduce your stress. But what we suggest is, like when you are eating, you just eat consciously, relish everything what you are eating, pay full attention to your eating, and nothing else in the world should bother you at that time. So at least while eating, if you are not under stress, the hyperacidity will be under control.
Interesting. So stress would be perhaps the major factor.
Yes, yes. Because secondarily, if you are under stress, one tends to eat more, one tends to eat in hurry,
Yes, yes.
like that.
Yes.
So this is all like vicious. But stress is very important factor in controlling hyperacidity.
And what about the homeopathic treatment of duodenal ulcers?
Yes,
As a result of this.
of course. In homeopathy, we don't treat one particular sector or an ulcer.
Right.
We consider that the whole environment, the totality in the person has given a condition which gives rise to ulceration.
Okay.
So we go to the basics. Of course, this duodenal ulcer would be one of the component of our totality. That this person has this tendency, and definitely a drug which has all these characters or these potentials to cure such condition we give. But definitely we give on the basis of totality of symptoms. There is one more, like what we call H. pylori bacteria. The presence of H. pylori bacteria in the system is associated with duodenal ulcer, and some people feel that that is the cause of duodenal ulcer, but mainly they are like saprophytes.
Oh.
all these bacteria. So these bacteria are there, but instead of treating these bacteria, we have to treat the person who has actually been responsible to provide environment which suits to these bacteria. So that way we generally go on the basis of totality. Of course, we counsel them for this management of diet, and we ask them to eat very small doses, bland diet initially till the ulcer is healed. Not only in one case of duodenal ulcer, we have done one experiment. We used to give plain lemon juice, not diluted, on empty stomach. 2-3 teaspoons. We used to ask the person to gulp plain lemon juice, and that has helped the person in overcoming the ulcer. Yes.
So simple.
It's very simple. Only thing is, there are few things like we can call hiatus hernia. There is like where the
It's a hiatal.
hiatal hernia.
Hiatal hernia, yes, I know.
So here, what happens? We ask the person not to lie down for 1.5 hours after food, because when the person lies down with gravity, also some stomach contents rise further. So these are few techniques of management till the person is fully cured.
How serious a problem is hyperacidity?
See, hyperacidity for a while, if it is transient, it is not serious. Body has means to overcome it by itself. Like person, the food intake is restricted and all. But what happens, like especially people with sedentary habits, someone has a meeting or has to make decision making in that meeting, then hyperacidity actually makes the person more irritable. So definitely the person with a sedentary habit definitely is hyperacidity the culprit in their behavior.
Is it prevalent in many people or not so?
No, it's very much there in, especially in the people who work as an executive and who have mental stress and irregular sleep and irregular diet.
I see.
It's very common. Then some people, the presentation can be different. In some people, if they are lucky, they develop gastritis and duodenitis like local symptoms. Some people get burning. So these are like immediate warnings, and then naturally the person will restrict the food and all. But there are some people whom they get migraine like headaches.
Oh.
They just get like colitis like associated symptoms. Sometimes duodenal ulcer, if there is no pain or people take painkiller, even the bleeding, and even it can lead to even malignancy, constant irritation.
So it's most important to follow these guidelines.
Simple guidelines. That is what we say: eat in time, drink lot of fluid before you eat slowly, eat moderate, and moderate spicy or no spicy,
And don't
and
worry.
fresh food,
Don't worry about anything.
and dwell upon it, dwell upon the presence.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Namaste.